Well, good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Welcome here to East Texas Today on KTK Plus. I am your digital host, Haley Hines, and today I have to say I have a jam-packed show, and that is good to say because yesterday, you all know, if you tuned in yesterday, then you know that we ended a little bit early, but today I just don't feel like that will be the case. We have a lot of news to get to you all this morning, and we're going to go ahead and start with something that is happening, I would say, in about 30 minutes. I know it's 9 o'clock on the dot, so in about 30 minutes, this will be taking place. It'll happen at 9:30. The Smith County Commissioner's Court is scheduled to meet today to consider whether they should deduct County Clerk Karen Phillips' salary during her recent jail sentence. Now, I do have an image of this individual. Now, this is Karen Phillips. She's 67. She is of Smith County. She was found guilty of interfering with public duties on May 9th of 2024, but later relinquished her sentence of a year's probation and was sentenced to 30 days in Smith County Jail. Now, Phillips was booked into the Smith County Jail on August 29th and was later released after 9 days in jail on September 6th. Now, according to Smith County Jail records, she was originally arrested for interfering with public duties after a March 2023 traffic stop, which also led to the arrest of her son. Smith County commissioners will vote today on whether or not Phillips will be paid for those days she was in jail. Phillips responded to the commissioners' potential vote by filing a public information request with the county. Phillips requested payment records of several Smith County elected officials who she claimed have been criminally charged in the past. Phillips' request is her attempt to figure out if any other Smith County officials have ever had their pay deducted or criminal charges. Phillips wrote in her request, quote, "In my 14 years of attending Commissioner's Court as county clerk, I do not recall ever seeing an agenda item similar to the one scheduled for tomorrow, 9/16/2025, as this was written yesterday. To my knowledge, no Commissioner's Court agenda has ever specifically listed the name of an elected official in connection with a potential salary reduction. More specifically, my name has been placed on tomorrow's agenda with the stated purpose of potentially reducing my salary due to a criminal charge brought against me," end quote. Now, today's meeting of the Smith County's Commissioner Court, like I said, will be held at 9:30 a.m. on the first floor of Smith County Courthouse Annex at 200 East Ferguson Street here in Tyler. So you all, this is happening today. And of course, once we learn more information, then you all can head over to our website, ktk.com, and also just follow along on air on KTK or on Fox 51, as we will give you all those updated and full details as we get them ourselves. Now, I do want to go ahead and move into our next topic, which is something that has been pretty popular online. This is an update from the city of Hawkins. And this is where the city of Hawkins was not able to approve an annual budget. It was a packed room filled with Hawkins residents who could barely contain their thoughts. Now, Today's Rachel Davis was in the incredibly intense room, and as that decision was made, and she's going to have those details for us with something that she put together yesterday. So here that is.
If I lose my position, I do not care.
Strong words from Mayor Debbie Rushing started Monday night's city council meeting.
I'm so convicted and I've been so stirred up that this is where we are, and I want better for this town.
The meeting follows the release of all Hawkins police officers earlier this year and served as a way to renew two proposed 2025-2026 annual budgets, which reduce the police department's funding and the fire department's budget.
There's really no need to cut our budget such a drastic mark.
Hawkins residents saying they don't want to be left without local law enforcement and ask council members to postpone the vote and hold a workshop.
You disbanded our police department. That was a major decision, and whether it was one supported or not, it dramatically changed this community's ability to handle public safety.
For the proposed yearly budget, two options were drafted. Proposal A would lower the police department's budget from around $384,000 to about $163,000. Proposal B would lower it even further, down to about $87,000, or around 23% of the 2025 budget, and would also drop the fire department's budget.
It was $78,000, which is half of our normal $140.
Neither option was approved by council members.
We're going to rebuild this town, make it an attractive little town, with a safe little town with a police department, and we want our fire department to be top notch.
The city secretary saying after the vote, the state's going to come in and take over. Rachel Davis, KETK Today.
Well, that was Rachel Davis reporting on that story. And of course, as we learn more information about this story, then we will always update you, like I said, on air and online at ktk.com. Now, we're going to stay in the town of Hawkins here with our next story. The Hawkins Independent School District is asking voters to approve a proposition in the upcoming November elections. Now, I do have more information on what this proposition entails and what some more information on that. But that would increase the residents' property taxes. The proposal would increase Hawkins residents' property taxes by 0.08 cent per $100 of taxable assessed property value, and would be used to help fund the district's maintenance and operations. If the property taxes are increased, it would provide the district with an additional $1 million, over $1 million. The election will be held on November 4th, and early voting begins on October 20th and runs through October 31st. So if you all live there, make sure that you go and get your vote in. Now, something that I want to dive into here is Kilgore College celebrated 90 years in education yesterday. This is a big deal. 90 years in any place is a huge deal, like I said, and an accomplishment, to say the least. But they had a ceremony at the pedestrian bridge on their campus. And here's a little background on Kilgore College. Now, our Ella Mitchell was there during this, and she was the one who covered this story. So this is her information that I'd like to share with you all. Now, in 1935, Kilgore College opened its doors with one mission, quote, bringing accessible local education to East Texans. End quote. Now in 2025, it serves nearly 8,000 students. And on Monday, Kilgore faculty, students, and community members gathered to celebrate the college's rich history. Celebrations feature remarks from past college presidents who have shaped the institution, and Kilgore Mayor Ronnie Spaulding, who shared his personal history to the campus. Spaulding said, quote, "This college has always been a part of my life. My parents went here, so I grew up watching the Rangerettes, going to games, and I attended Kilgore College 51 years ago. It has a heritage and it is loved by the community, and so many people have used Kilgore College as a stepping stone into a successful life." Now, at this celebration, the Rangerettes carried the U.S. flag during Monday's celebration, and Rangerettes Faith Stowe said, quote, "I know I have a home here and a support team for the life through Kilgore Rangerettes and the whole school." Kilgore College said this celebration isn't just about the past 90 years, it's about building a future for the next 90 years, which is just a very remarkable quote. So congratulations to Kilgore College. This is an awesome accomplishment that you all were able to reach, an awesome milestone. And I can't wait to see you all reach that just in 10 years, reach that 100-year milestone. So like I said, congratulations, really big deal. Now I am going to go ahead and take a quick break. I threw a lot at you all this morning, but I have a lot more to give you all. So you all make sure you stick around after this break. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back here to East Texas Today on KTK Plus. I'm your digital host, Haley Hines, and I just cannot wait to get into this next story because I think that a lot of people will like this. It's a pretty big change, but something that may be very useful for some. Now, the Tyler area metropolitan. Listen, I have to address this word because in my teas this morning, I said metropolitan. Metropolitan. I have to get it right. But the Tyler Area Metropolitan Planning Organization is asking East Texans for their input on local trolley service and high-speed rail along the Interstate 20 corridor. The Tyler Rail and Regional Transit Study is entering its final stages, and so the Tyler Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, MPO, is asking local residents to respond to a survey that will help them decide how rail service could be deployed in the area. Now, I think that this would be pretty cool. You can go from Dallas to Atlanta. There's a lot of different places, or you can just go from here to Dallas. I mean, I don't know. I like traveling to Dallas, and if this is faster, it could be a great thing. It's an awesome thing. Now, let me go ahead and pull up some video that I would like to show you all. So here that is. Now, consultants are currently examining a limited trolley service on existing rail lines in the short-term future, and they're also looking at possible connections to high-speed rail service proposed for along Interstate 20. Tyler MPO Director Michael Howell said, quote, "There is a proposed high-speed rail line that would connect Dallas-Fort Worth with Atlanta, Georgia. If this high-speed rail line were to go in, that would potentially give somebody the ability to get on a train in Tyler and go all the way to Dallas." Now, in January, Tyler City Council approved a $150,000 contract with engineering consultants Kimley Horn of Tyler to develop the Tyler Rail and Regional Transit Study as a part of the MPO 2024-2025 Unified Planning Work Program. Howell said, quote, "The light rail study will help us modernize transportation options in the Tyler area, allowing more connectivity and sustainable development." Kimley Horn, end quote. Kimley Horn is hosting a virtual town hall about the Tyler Rail and Regional Transit Survey at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, September 23rd, so next Tuesday. To respond to that survey and view potential routes, you can visit the Tyler Rail and Regional Transit Survey online. So if you all want to give your opinions about this, make sure that you all go take that survey. And I'm really curious. I can't wait to see what people are saying on social media about this. But personally, my personal opinion, this seems pretty cool. I hadn't rode a train, so this may give me the opportunity to. Now we're going to move on. We're staying in the thought process of just being on the road or being, traveling is the better way to put this, because the Texas Department of Transportation is nearly done with construction of the Diboll Relief route. And I do have some images of where this route or what this route is. And this is from a couple years back, but it'll refresh some people's memories if you all are, wanting to see that. So here that is. Now, this will open to the southbound traffic for the first time this week. The Diboll Relief route was first researched by TxDOT in the 1990s as a way to improve safety and traffic flow on U.S. Highway 59 near Diboll. After completing environmental studies for the route in 1999, the project reached a standstill because of budget constraints. Development was revived in 2013 by the I-69 Angelina and Nacogdoches County Committee. Construction on the route then started in 2020 after Saros Construction USA LLC was awarded the $140.1 million project. Now, the main southbound lanes of the route will start to see traffic on Thursday as workers start the process of switching the current lanes onto the new interstate lanes. To make the switch, lane closures will be done near FM 2108 in Burke at White Oak Creek, south of Diboll. TxDOT Lufkin said, quote, "Travelers heading to Connor Road will be redirected to take the FM 2108 exit. Signs will be placed in to direct them to the appropriate route." End quote. TxDOT advised drivers heading to the airport to follow existing detour signs. TxDOT asked that drivers pay attention to any new signage installed along roadways near Diboll and to watch for workers moving equipment near the relief route. The northbound lanes of the relief route are expected to be open to traffic by the end of May. Now, according to TxDOT, the Diboll relief route will help US 59 meet the standards needed to have the highway designated as part of Interstate 69. So this is seeming like a really big thing that could lead to them being part of Interstate 69. So I can't wait to see where this goes. Now, continuing, I do have a traffic alert for you all. Oh, I skipped a story. I can't skip this story because this is a really awesome story. Here it is. A portion of U.S. Highway 69 in Smith County will be renamed Veterans Memorial Highway to honor and serve as a lasting tribute to those who served in the United States Armed Forces. A press conference will be held on September 19th at the Tyler Area Chamber of Commerce Veterans Committee to formally announce the designation of the Veterans Memorial Highway. The press conference will be held at First Christian Church starting at noon. And then veterans and their families are encouraged to attend the press conference and participate in the dedicated photo opportunity following the event. The Tyler Area Chamber of Commerce Veterans Committee Jackie Clay Robertson said, quote, "The highway designation is a lasting tribute to the courage and sacrifice of our veterans. We are honored to see this vision become a reality with the help of our local and state leaders." So this is huge. This is a big thing, and I know we'll have more details on that come September 19th, which is just in a few days. So you all just make sure that you stay tuned because we'll have that update when they actually do the designation of that highway. Now to that traffic alert that I have for you all this morning. This is something that people need to be aware of if you're on the road or traveling in downtown Tyler this morning. Now, according to city officials, workers are starting construction on College Avenue in downtown Tyler today. College Avenue will be closed from Ferguson Street and Irwin Street along Tyler's downtown square. Now, drivers will still be able to head east and west on Ferguson Street, and Irwin Street will until the construction work is done. The city of Tyler said fences along Irwin Street will be moved to allow more parking there, and the city also noted that the Fair Plaza and the Smith County parking garages are also open for free parking in the area of downtown. So if you'll be downtown, this is really good to know and think about when driving, and just make sure that you're paying attention to signage and looking out for anybody who may be working in that area. But you all, that wraps up that section of our show this morning. We will have a little bit of weather with Braden CO when we get back after this break, so you all stick around. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back here to East Texas Today on KTK Plus. As you can see, I am joined by our meteorologist, Braden Co. Braden, how are you doing? It's a Tuesday.
I'm doing pretty good. Today's been a pretty good Tuesday, I have to say.
Okay, that's nice. So what's the weather looking outside on this Tuesday?
It's looking very similar to what we had yesterday. So plenty of heat and also that chance for just a couple of isolated showers and storms during the afternoon.
Okay, well, I didn't see any showers yesterday, which was great, but you say they could happen, so I know you have more to tell us, so I'll go ahead and let you have it.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking out there this morning at a pretty good start to the day. We've got mostly clear skies out there to start off, and those temperatures are sitting right now about 78, so we are warming up pretty fast. Winds variable around 5 miles per hour, and that humidity around 69% out there, so not too humid, but still a little bit of humidity out there. That satellite and radar is showing there that we do have mostly clear skies across much of the Lone Star State, and that's going to continue here for the next few hours before we get a little bit of cloud development and then potentially some storm development as we head into the afternoon. 81 already down in Houston, 78 in College Station and Dallas-Fort Worth, still hanging on to some of those 60s up in Amarillo. And looking here locally, it is about 82 in Marshall and Texarkana, 77 in Center, 79 in Athens and Crockett this morning. And looking here at those highs, we're going to be getting up into the 90s. Once again today, those winds will be variable around 5 miles per hour. A general direction will be out of the west. However, as we look here at what we're expecting tonight, lows once again in the upper 60s, lower 70s here across East Texas, and that temperature trend is expected to continue pretty steady here, just around average as we go through the weekend and into early next week. And looking here at what we're expecting for our lows, similar story, right around normal here. Upper 60s, lower 70s going through early next week. Those rain chances, though, they are going to be with us around a 20 to 30% coverage each day. So not zero, also not, 100% out there. So it's going to be hit or miss in terms of those rain chances each afternoon. And we'll be seeing that today. And Futurecast does show that potential here for just some pop-up showers and storms out there. And then we'll see that diminish tonight. And then we'll get another opportunity for some of those showers and storms to develop into our Wednesday afternoon before, again, we see that diminish during the overnight hours. And as far as rainfall totals go, not overly impressive, only looking at around a quarter to maybe a half inch in some spots. And this is just generally speaking, as we're going to have rain chances each day, but not looking at anything widespread. So that is the reason for those lower totals out there. As we look out in the tropics, the Gulf is quiet. It continues to have a lot of wind shear. So if anything was trying to get going, it would certainly tear it apart. So not looking at any development anytime soon out there, but we do have that potential for development in the tropical Atlantic. 2 disturbances, one of them a low chance of development as it is just now moving off the coast of Africa. Then another area with a pretty high chance of development here pretty soon, and it will continue to move off into the open waters of the Atlantic. Lots of time to watch this in the coming days. No threats to us, though, here in East Texas. Back home today, 92, partly cloudy. An isolated shower or storm cannot be rolled out. Tonight, we're going to see those lows around 70, mostly clear skies. Here's a look at that pollen count for you, showing still high levels of ragweed out there and moderate levels of mold spores, also moderate levels of tree pollen. Grass is low. As we look here at your 7-day forecast, continuing to see some isolated to widely scattered storm chances each day as we go through your weekend. Then Monday is the first official day of fall, looking at temperatures in the upper 80s and a chance for some scattered storms. Also, those temperatures in the lower 90s there across deep East Texas. And just in time for the first day of fall, we're also going to see high of around 90 and some scattered storms.
Well, look at that. Now, you showed that pollen count, and I have to say something about this. I took my dog to the vet, and she's having allergies because of the ragweed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just did not know that dogs could, pick up on that. And they were saying that a lot of dogs are having allergies because of this. So that may be something to keep in mind. I didn't know that it was actually high until right now. So that is the reason, I guess, that my baby's been suffering. But for you all that may have animals, that's something to keep keep in mind. Hopefully some of the rain will wash that away whenever it comes there. But Braden, thank you so much for coming in this morning. It was awesome hearing from you, and I know you will be back tomorrow for a little bit more weather from you, with our fingers crossed that it may not rain. Well, no, actually, now I'm saying hopefully it'll rain for the ragweed.
Maybe just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. But Braden, thank you so much. Y'all, once we come back, we're going to be talking about Travel Tuesday. It's Braden's favorite day. I know that it's not his favorite day, but it is ours because we get to talk with AAA about where we're going and things that we should keep in mind if we're traveling overseas. So you all stick around for that after this break. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back here to East Texas Today on KTK Plus. You all, as I said before the break, it's Tuesday, it's Travel Tuesday, which means we are getting to talk to Daniel Armbruster with AAA. And I wasn't the one who got to talk to him this time. It was our other digital host, Tristan Van Beem, and he sat down and they discussed overseas travel, which is crazy because I just literally did that on my honeymoon. We went to Mahogany Bay, Costa Maya, and Cozumel. I don't know why I forgot Cozumel, but it was so much fun. And some things that they talked about was making sure that you have a good travel assistant, making sure that you do your own researches on the places that you're going, and just making sure that you're aware of where you're going. Now, I did go to Honduras, which is one of the places. Mahogany Bay is in Honduras, and a tour guide there, we're talking safety. He was talking to us about safety there, and he said they only have like a 5% crime rate, which I think is pretty awesome. It's really low there. Very, very small island. It's beautiful. But you all, if you're like me and you're going somewhere or you've been somewhere and you want to know what's the best way to think about safety when you're going overseas, this is the perfect conversation. And I'm just going to let them tell it because I know that they know a lot more than me. So here it is. Here is that conversation between Tristan Van Beem and Daniel Armbruster with AAA.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Travel Tuesday. Once again, I'm here with my friend Daniel Armbruster from AAA. How you doing this morning, Daniel?
Hey, good morning, Tristan. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's another nice morning, so don't really have much to complain about. But I know that we do have another topic to discuss, and that is it safe to travel overseas? Now, this can affect a lot of people because I feel like now more than ever, a lot more people are traveling, outside of the U.S. and stuff like that. So, Daniel, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's a great question, and one that may not have like a direct answer
Hmm.
because, it can depend on where you go. It can
Yeah.
depend on what your preferences are. Travel's, a real personal decision. And so a lot of it has to do with the individual and their comfort level, and also doing your research and, working with a trusted travel advisors that recommendation. But there's a lot of safe places in the world where you can go and enjoy uh, the scenery and sights and whatnot.
Well, I like that you said do your research because I actually have a question for you, and that is, can people update or gain their passports through AAA?
Great question. Yeah, so AAA doesn't actually issue passports,
Okay.
but we can help make that process a little bit easier.
Hmm.
Members can get discounted passport photos at AAA branches,
Oh, okay.
and we offer expedited passport services through our partner Rush My Passport. Right now, it takes about 6 weeks on average to
Hmm.
get a passport, but if you do it through that service, that expedited service, that can speed it up by 2 to 3 weeks. So, cutting that time in half is a little bit of an extra cost, but a lot of times people will not realize, hey, I need to update my passport,
Hmm.
which you have to have at least 6 months left on your passport before you leave the country to be able to depart the United States and re-enter. So you want to make sure that you have at least 6 months of pad there on your passport. If it's getting close to 6 months, go ahead and just get it done because it is a little bit of a process.
Well, I didn't know that it was 6 months until before your trip. I mean, that's actually some great information to know, especially considering that a lot of people are checking out some countries to go to. And what are some of the safest countries that what are some of the safest countries according to AAA?
Yeah, again, a little room for debate there, but we encourage travelers really consider destinations that are known for stability,
Yeah,
right? Low crime, strong infrastructure. Countries like Iceland. Iceland's one of the top
Iceland.
destinations right
Okay.
now in Europe. And that's because it's known to be very safe. It's of course great food, great sights.
Hmm.
Switzerland's another one. Japan, New Zealand. Those are consistently recognized as some of the safest places in the world. Of course, there are many places that welcome international visitors that are very safe. But again, it's going to be kind of based on your own personal needs. That said, the decision to travel, like we said, always a personal one. We recommend working with a trusted travel advisor, but
Hmm.
also review the U.S. State Department travel advisories because those guidelines are really important when you're planning an international trip. They'll give you an idea of what is going on in that country as far as are there any warnings or things that you
Hmm.
should be concerned about. Those are always updated, and again, the State Department is a really good resource for that. And of course, like I said, working with a trusted travel advisor recommended, and they can kind of help you make those informed decisions so that you can feel more confident about where you're going as far as safety goes.
Well, I like how you mentioned that some popular countries like Iceland and Japan, but what are some American customs that we should try to avoid when we go to these other countries?
There's so many, right?
Yeah. I know we're a
You
little
know,
weird over here, so.
if you've never been out of the country, e- every place is different, right?
Hmm.
And it's easy to feel like everywhere is like America, but it's
Hmm.
not, right?
Yeah.
It's a great country that we live in, but things are a little different depending on where you go. So, for instance, like tipping in Japan,
Hmm.
Korea, that can be seen as rude, actually.
Oh,
So,
okay.
which, hey, you don't have to tip.
Hey,
Great.
that's a bonus.
Yeah, exactly. Over familiarity, so like smiling, chatting with strangers, that can be seen as intrusive in some cultures.
Hmm.
Uh, for instance, in Asia or Scandinavia, wearing your shoes indoors to certain places or homes can be seen as rude. So it's one of those things where it's really good to do a little research before you go, just so that you aren't being rude and you're being respectful of the different culture.
Hmm.
If you work with a travel advisor, that's a great resource. They can tell you kind of some of those things. But there are little nuances here and there depending on where you go. That's always good to be aware of.
Well, I mean, you just said it right there. Do your own research and everything like that. I mean, I honestly would have never known that some countries don't really appreciate strangers coming up to them and being all friendly and stuff like that. But also while we're doing research, what are some ways that we can figure out how to save time at the airport?
Yeah, I mean, you want to get there if you're taking an international flight, right?
Hmm.
3 hours ahead of time, usually is the standard. Depending on where you're departing from, like for instance, if you're departing out of East Texas, Tyler, that might not be as long of a security line as say DFW Airport in the Dallas Fort Worth area if
Hmm.
you're driving over here. But I can tell you that the security line sometimes at Dallas Fort Worth, and maybe the same is true in Tyler, it gets really long,
Oh yeah.
and so at times, and so you could see 30, 40-minute waits. So we recommend that travelers look into TSA PreCheck. That's a really good option to help you save time in the security line. You don't have to take off your belt. Of course, now you don't have to take off your shoes in either line, but
Oh, they changed
so
it? I didn't
that
know that.
yeah, that just changed actually.
Wow. Okay.
But and a few other things changed as well, so that it kind of help expedite the situation. But one thing I would encourage folks to do is sign up for TSA PreCheck. There's also a few other programs out there that you might want to look into that'll help you expedite that security process, make it a little bit easier for you, especially if you have a large group of people or you're not good at getting to the airport on time.
Hmm. Yeah.
Always a good thing to look into.
I mean, I know I'm one of those people that tends to travel late to the airport. I'm always getting there maybe a good 30 minutes before the flight if I'm lucky and everything like that. But this next question got me actually. It said, "So travelers get travel insurance for international trips." Now, I haven't really taken many countries outside of the U.S., many trips outside the U.S. But Daniel, what are your thoughts on this?
So like international travel, absolutely,
Hmm.
especially if it's a big bucket list trip, because you just never know what's going to happen. And
True.
like I'm planning a trip right now with my family to do an Alaskan cruise, which even domestically we're going to get travel insurance
That is
because
awesome.
it's a little bit pricier of a trip.
Hmm.
Things can change. My parents are getting a little up there in age, and so I just want to make sure that in case something happens, we can get a refund if we need to for our trip. So, the good thing about travel insurance, especially for international travel, it protects against unexpected events like medical
Hmm.
emergencies, trip cancellations, lost luggage, or travel delays. The policies are a little bit different that are out there. So you want to read the fine print, make sure you understand what is covered in the policy. But it does offer peace of mind if you get the right policy, and it can save you thousands if something goes wrong.
Well, that's awesome. I didn't know you were taking a trip to Alaska. I hope you have a great time over there. I've never really been over there personally, but it does sound like it could be a great experience. And now, while you're
Yeah.
yeah, and then so before you go over there, what documents are you going to personally carry and back up, and what other documents should travelers carry and back up before going abroad or going to somewhere like Alaska?
You want to make sure you have a copy of your passport.
Hmm.
Also, visa documents, travel insurance. Hopefully, you got that. Your itinerary as well. It's really good to just keep a set with you and store digital copies securely online or email it to yourself. That just helps you if your documents are lost or stolen to prove your identity.
Yeah.
If hopefully you don't get into that situation, but it's always good to have that backup just in case because things can happen that are
Hmm.
unexpected, and so you just want to be prepared as much as possible.
Well, I like that. Be prepared. And another question that I have that comes with preparedness is how can travelers stay healthy while abroad? I know a lot of people struggle with just going out and having fast food every time they're on vacation, but what are some tips that AAA has to help us keep us healthy?
You want to check if vaccinations are
Hmm.
required, right? So like I had a friend of mine, she and her husband traveled to Africa recently, and they were required to get a set of vaccinations
Wow.
before they went, and it was like a series, and so that takes some time. So you want to check into that, make sure that you know what's required for your destination if that's the case. But just packing, enough prescription medication for your trip. Also bringing those basic health supplies like hand sanitizer, pain relievers, motion sickness remedies if you're going on like a cruise or you're going to be sailing or something. And then it's so important, I think, I'm not a doctor, but
Yeah.
just to stay hydrated and get plenty of rest. That'll help you avoid jet lag and illness, because the last thing you want to do is, and it's happened to me, you go on a trip to another country and then you get sick and you're trying to find, oh, well, where do I get medicine? Where can I find a doctor? You know, those types of things. It's a little more complicated if you're in another country, especially if they speak another language. So
Yeah.
things to check into before you go, just to be prepared. One of those just in case scenarios, hopefully not something you have to do, but always good to be prepared.
I mean, that's just one of the worst things that can happen on a trip is you getting sick and having to find medications and stuff like that, which I know could cost a lot of money. And then that what kind of carries me over to my next question, which is what should travelers know about how much about money safety overseas?
Yeah, so we recommend using one of these RFID blocking
Hmm.
wallets. So this is my phone, and then I have my wallet here, my cards go in here.
Oh,
But
okay.
this little metal thing here is an RFID blocking device, because nowadays your information can be stolen from a
Hmm.
credit card without the thief physically having your card. So a really good idea to have that, even if you're traveling domestically, because of course there are thieves domestically just as there are internationally. So it's always good to protect your money that way. Split your cash
Hmm.
between bags. Don't put it all in one
Yeah.
place. And if you are comfortable, have other travel companions carry some of the cash too. That way, not everyone uh, is not one person is carrying all the cash. And then, it's always a smart idea. A lot of times banks don't require this as much anymore as they used to, but I
Hmm.
still do this. Just inform your bank of your travel dates. That helps you avoid issues with your card, and also consider using a travel-friendly card with no foreign transaction fees. Because if you don't have one, those transaction fees can add up really fast,
Mm.
Tristan.
I bet. So, I mean, I've never personally had to deal with, my credit card or anything like my identity being stolen or anything like that. But you did mention that they don't even need your credit cards anymore because they can like scan it or something. How does that work?
Yeah, there are devices out there where, the electronic chip, the
Hmm.
information in that chip can be stolen without them physically having your card just being
Wow.
near your wallet. So you want to be careful of that. It's
That's
the thing
scary.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, when it comes to crime and whatnot, we've learned this from automotive crime too, being an automotive insurance
Hmm.
company. Uh, the thieves will find a new way. There will be a new security uh, device put in place. The thieves will find a way around that, and then of course you have to continue to figure out ways to protect yourself. But that's one of the best things to do right now is those RFID blocking wallets.
Man, I mean, I know technology is getting crazy now, and all we can pretty much do is just adapt and overcome. But that's another conversation for another day. But thank you so much, Daniel, for hopping on for another Travel Tuesday. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for giving us all the great tips that we look forward to listening to every week.
Great to see you. Thanks, Tristan.
Yeah, of course. You have a great one.
Well, hello and welcome back here to East Texas Today on KTK Plus. You all, this has been a great morning. I may have misspoke this morning and was like, oh, we're going to have enough. Not sure. We're going to see. We're almost done with this morning, but just know I have one more great story that I talked about yesterday that I want to talk about again today, because yesterday we were kind of foreshadowing it. Today it has already happened, so we now have some background and some video that I can show you all, and here that video is. Now, the East Texas Food Bank honored community members with the Hunger Hero Awards. And as you all know, today or this month is Hunger Action Month, and this was recognizing their contributions during this month. Now, the Hunger Hero Awards celebrate individuals who have made outstanding contributions to combating hunger in East Texas. Among the honorees was Michael Alger, who received the Lifetime Achievement Award for his dedicated service as a volunteer at St. Vincent de Paul. The award highlighted individuals' ongoing efforts to address food insecurity in the region, with community leaders continuing to honor those who make a difference. Now, you all, this is some footage from this Hunger Hero Awards of 2025. As you all can see, great turnout. Congratulations to those who did receive awards, and just a big thank you to the community for always helping out and making sure that you all are making East Texans, you know, you're feeding one person with your donations at a time and making sure that people do not go hungry. So it's an awesome thing to recognize. And I'm just glad I got to talk about it, not one day, but 2 days in a row. Now, you all, it is currently 9:52 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. But before we go, I do want to let you all know you don't just find us here on KTK Plus, which I'm sure you all are aware of. You can also see us on air on channels 51 and 56 for Fox on 51 and for KTK on 56. Now, happening soon at 11 o'clock, David Gibson will be live on channel 56 for KTK on KTK for East Texas Live. So if you all are more into the lifestyle shows, well, then you know David has you covered on what's happening around East Texas. And then also at 4 and 4:30, we'll have Tyler for KTK News at 4, and then we'll have, or 4 and 4:30, and then we'll have Casey and Isaac for KTK News at 5. Tyler will be over on his channel Fox 51 at 5:30, and Casey Isaac will be there on KTK at 6. And then, of course, like I always say, if you're a night owl, we got you covered, because we have our late shows that happen at 9 and 10 p.m. with Tyler, Casey, and Isaac giving you the latest news, literally, from around East Texas. And then if you're just somebody who maybe doesn't watch TV or doesn't tune in on air on 51 or 56, that is okay, because guess what? We have you covered with our online website, ktk.com, and you can get there just by scanning that QR code there on your screen. And like it says, scan for the latest details, latest headlines. You all, our digital team is working extremely hard to make sure you get the information that you need to make sure you're staying informed here in East Texas and deep East Texas, and honestly around the state, with state news and national local news. So you all just make sure that you're staying up to date with what's happening around you. I hope to see you all here tomorrow again at 9 a.m. where we'll dive into the latest and most local stories happening here in East Texas. I am your digital host for today, Haley Hines. You all, it's been a pleasure to give you the news this morning, and I will see you all tomorrow.